What's going on, Raiders? Duelim here, and today we're going to be talking about the heroic summon pool for PRISM shards that is going on right now, and if you should buy them because there is going to be a champion chase tournament coming up relatively soon starting on Friday. So if you're ready for all that information and more, let's get into it. But first, make sure you're clicking that download link or scanning the QR code to get Karato Fox Hunter. The second you start the game, an amazing legendary nuker. At level 10, you're going to be getting Tagore, an amazing epic support character. At level 20, you're going to be getting Fane, who's got some incredible turn meter steal, as well as some pretty crazy damage. And then at level 30, you're going to be getting Vergus, who's a defense-based champion, to help keep your other characters alive. And then this is super important, day number 1 within the first 24 hours of making your Raid Shadow Legends account, type in promo code Monkey King to get Sun Wukong, one of the best free legendaries they have ever given. And if you're on iOS, make sure you're clicking a different link in the description to type in any promo code. All right, so you can see here we do have a Champion Chase event starting on Friday the 5th, which is most likely today. Well, today's the 3rd for me, but today's probably Friday for you. But we do have a Champion Chase starting, and it is going to be encompassing the Smart Fella Titan event, and it is going to be giving those pizza points to progress towards Donatello's 5 perfect soul. Obviously, there are breakpoints at 3, and then obviously at 1. If you just want to go for 1, make sure he has a blessing and then move on. But I will be going all the way for the 5 because red stars really make a character go from pretty good to oh mama, they're really good. So red stars are definitely a big part of this game and a big part of progression, and it changes how a character works, especially with those blessings as well. Makes them so much better. And yeah, let's go into the PRISM shards here. So I'm going to move over to the side here so we can go over everybody. That's right. I'm going to move my green screen. I got it. All right. So we have in the headline champions a 1.5% chance for obviously Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, I almost said Michelangelo, and then April O'Neil. So Michelangelo is going to be the free one, so we all have him. And then these are going to be for the other 3 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and April. Now, this looks really enticing, doesn't it? Especially because Leonardo is absolutely insane. Void legendary. Raphael is pretty good as well. Probably the worst of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but still very good. And that says something, the fact that he's the worst and he's still very good. And then if you skipped out on the Donatello fusion for whatever reason, I don't know why you would, but if you skipped out on him, you could get him here. Or if you're just a nutcase and you want to get a duplicate for him and empower him already if you're done with Faction Guardians, that is an option as well. And then April O'Neil, if you didn't get her from her initial shard release, I do believe there's going to be an event regarding her later. We don't have details. That's a complete speculation, but it's my understanding that we are going to have those for every character. We're going to have normal releases for every character. So that is my understanding of what's going to happen. So yeah, it's not 1.5% per each of these characters. It's 1.5% divided by all 4 of these characters. So not the best, let me tell you. I think these are honestly hot trash because of the characters that are in this as well, aside from the headline champions. I always look at this and I look at it from the aspect of I'm not going to get the headline champions, right? If I do, absolutely amazing. That's cool. That's fun. That's exciting. If I don't, it is what it is. And I kind of just treat it like it's gravy on top, right? Like that's pretty much what I look at it. I don't look at these headline champions going, I'm gonna get them, right? Like that's just not realistic at all. It's just really not. So I am gonna look at the legendaries here. It's a 4.5% chance. Once again, This is kind of gravy on top, but some notable choices here. Manaya, not bad. Interesting turn meter village, but you kind of need a Kroanar as well, who is in this pool, I believe. I'm almost positive he's in the pool here, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, that's Krokmar. Never mind. No, he's not in the pool, so you don't even have the ally champion, the companion champion with Manaya, so she's kind of meh. We have Contra the Cyclone. Not bad, honestly. A really interesting Chaos Tempest, level 1 here. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Each hit is a 50% chance of placing one of the following buffs, debuffs for 2 turns. Block buffs, decrease attack, decrease speed, weaken, decrease accuracy, and heal reduction. So this is a really good combination with something like Seer, because Seer obviously does damage based off of debuffs and buffs that are out there. So this would be pretty interesting to throw in with like a Seer comp to get through wave content pretty quickly. Not too bad at all. Also, decreases enemy accuracy by 10 for each debuff they are under as well, which is fascinating. Also, this champion will receive 4% less damage for each debuff on the attacker. So very, very nice. And then some heals every time a debuff expires on an enemy, which is pretty good. I don't really like that it's a base 1250 when you're probably going to be building a decent amount of health on her, but that's okay. And then also there is a provoke, a 75% provoke chance for 1 turn on enemies under 5 or more debuffs at the start of this champion's turn. So that's pretty cool. And then this champion can place debuffs on weak hits, which is very interesting. I do like that. Next up, Dracomorph. Dracomorph is okay. He does have some poison debuffs, which is always nice. Some weaken, decreased defense as well, and he gives accuracy in Faction Wars. So pretty good there. Probably good for Faction Wars. Corvus the Corruptor. I didn't see anything cool on his kit other than just some increase the duration of enemy buffs by 1 turn. So nothing wrong with that. And then increasing ally buffs by 1 turn. So that's pretty cool. Nothing wrong with that. And then the A3, more poison sensitivity as well. But you already have that from Corrado Foxhunter from yours truly's download link. So you're welcome. So you already have that. Decreases the damage enemies under poison. Debuffs inflict 5% less per damage per poison. So this is really pretty good for like a clan boss. If you have like a Kale and then you have not Corrado, Eleanorel, who's got poisons. That's right, not Corrado. Eleanorel has poisons on her. So that's really good. And if you have Kale as the starter, that's going to be very helpful as well. So nothing wrong with that. Roshkard the Tower. Removing a buff from the A1, block active skills on the A2, and block buffs, debuffs. These buffs cannot be resisted, which is pretty cool. I really do like a cannot be resisted. That is really, really nice. He's also an HP-based damage dealer, and then places a block damage buff on all allies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. That's pretty cool, especially if you pair it with, Donatello, who does the cooldown reduction with his A2. That can be pretty helpful. Richtoff the Bold, he's okay. He's destroying max HP by 30% with the A1. The A2 attacks 1 enemy 3 times, places a poison debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, which is interesting because it attacks 1 enemy and then places the poison debuff. Attacks 1 enemy, critical damage increases by 20% for each poison debuff on the target, stacks up to 100%, so you could do some really crazy hits there. And then in Faction Crypts, getting increased attack by 27%. Then we have Krokmar, the Devourer. I didn't see anything crazy on him either. He's got a shield, which is nice for Titus Blackplume, right? And then he does do increased crit rate and increased crit damage buff on all allies for 3 turns, which is really nice. And then whenever this champion attacks, decreases the target's attack or defense by 5%, as well as the accuracy or resistance by 5%, depending on which stat is the highest, stacks up to 30%. That's kind of cool. Nothing too crazy, though. And then Valkyrie, decreases the turn meter 10% each hit if the target has any buffs, so nothing wrong with that. Attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all allies for 3 turns. Again, really, really good with Titus Blackplume. Also puts a counterattack on there, so very, very good here. I actually like that. The champion's turn meter will increase by 10% each time an enemy champion places a buff. Enemy champions will have their turn meters decreased by 10% for each buff they receive. That's really, really nice. So if you got a big buffing team on the other side, especially in like PvE, she's a very strong into that, which is very, very cool. And then increasing defense in Faction Crypts. So Valkyrie is pretty good. There's not too many other great options. And then when I look at the epics here, the epics are going to be the ones that you're probably going to be getting from this, right? So I look at the epics and I go, there's some pretty good options for rocking the Fat. He's always a great option, right? He's got a lot of ally attack. He's got a... then all allies except this champion will attack one enemy target. So this is really good in Fire Knight. That's the one, in Fire Knight. So ally attack in Fire Knight's always great on a 4-turn cooldown. That's really good. You have Deacon, who I can't say enough good things about. Deacon Armstrong is absolutely insane. He's amazingly, amazingly good. I use him everywhere. He's got an extra turn plus a turn meter fill on his a 15% turn meter fill and a 15% turn meter reduction as well. Then the decreased defense debuff for 2 turns, the leech and the rewind on, or just the leech. Sorry, it's not a rewind. I always think it's a rewind because of that mastery that does the rewind, but it's just the leech, which is great. And then increase ally speed in all battles by 19%. Amazing aura there. We have Fenix. Fenix is not bad. He's got a decent amount of multi-hitters, if I'm not mistaken. So he's okay in like Fire Knight normal. Got some block active skills, block buffs, so decent stuff there. We have Delasia, who Delasia is pretty good. HP-based damage dealer, poisons, decrease attack as well, continuous heal, shield on all allies, which is really nice. So nothing wrong with her. She's pretty good. 30% chance of counterattacking when an allied lizardman except this champion are attacked. So pretty good in faction wars as well. Nothing wrong with that. And then next, we do have Jerrig. I can't remember if he was good or not. Ally protection, increased defense, continuous heal. Whenever an ally is 20%, he doesn't look that great. The other ones that were decent, Venom Mage is actually pretty good. Got a lot of poisons as well. And you can also... activate the poisons with an A1. It's a 35% chance, but still, it goes up to a 50% chance to activate poisons with an A1, which is pretty nice, and it's a double hitter. It's also destroying the target's max HP for 75% of the damage inflicted if they're under a heal reduction. We got some decreased defense for 2 turns, decrease attack for 2 turns if the target's under a poison debuff, and then the A3, we've got heal reduction debuff for 3 turns, and then 2 poisons for 2 turns as well. Really nice. Enemies under a heal reduction debuffs inflict 15% less damage, so very good in clan boss with, again, a poison team, poison sensitivity, all that kind of good stuff. Very, very good there. And then the last one we're going to talk about, Lady Quillen, is also pretty good. Attacks 1 enemy, fills the champion turns by 15% if the attack is critical. Attacks 1 enemy, places an extra hit if this attack is critical. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 30% if this attack kills anybody. That's kind of nuts. If you get a kill, getting 30% turn meter is really good in like wave content or even in like spider. That's really good. Now it doesn't seem like it, but because it's not an AoE. If this was an AoE, imagine like this on Spider getting like 5 kills and then getting 150% turn meter. That'd be kind of nuts. And then the A3, first to fight, attacks all enemies, places a 30% increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns if this attack is critical, which obviously you're gonna get crits, right? Like you're always gonna do crits. So not bad at all. There's some good options in the epics. You obviously Fenix, Deacon, Farrakhan, Delasia, Lady Quillen, Venom Mage. So there's good options in the epics, right? So not bad. There's some pretty solid options, but again, there's 12, and there's some really trash ones in here. There's some, like Armina, not great. So there's some really bad ones in here, so you can't bank on getting the good ones, right? And then the legendaries, like only half of them are good. And then the headline, obviously, in my opinion, I don't think I really want April O'Neil, honestly. She's really good in arena and PvE modes, or PvP modes, I'm sorry. But outside of that, I don't really see much use for her. I don't see her being used all that much in like Hydra, Clan Boss, anything like that. So I'm kind of meh on April. I'm only looking at, one of the 3 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I already have Donatello, so in my head, I'm only looking at the other 2 that I don't have. And I'm kind of like, wow, I'd just rather wait for their release, their normal release, whatever it might be. If there is one, right, I'm kind of banking on if there's going to be a release or not. I'm not going to feed into the FOMO. I do not recommend these Prism shards. I do not recommend these. I am a big proponent of these normally, but as of right now, these are not it. I do not recommend these at all. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys have a differing opinion. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Until next time, this has been Duel 'em. Later, Raiders.